You are now entering the Queen's Quarters. We are powerful, strong, and rulers in our own right. There's a queen in you, there's a queen in me. Every woman is a queen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Queen's Quarters. We thank you for taking the time out to tune in and be with us on today. We at Queen's Quarters, we like to do a roll call. For those who do not know us, I'm Queen Ty, and I represent the 50s Club.
Hello, everybody. I'm Queen Emma, and I represent the 60s Club.
Hey, y'all out there. I'm Queen T, and I represent the 50s Club.
QQ Royalty, you already know. Queen Sands here, representing 40s Club.
What's up, guys? Queen Lady B here, representing the late 30s.
Hey, y'all. I'm Queen I, representing the early 30s.
Okay, there you have it. Now we have Queen T with Tea Time.
Hello, everyone. Again, welcome. Welcome to all you newcomers. Welcome to you guys that tune into us every week. So if you're new to this channel, then you know that you don't know that we do a tea time. In tea time, we give you all types of teas with health benefits. So today we're going to do dandelion tea. Now, dandelion tea has many positive effects on your digestive system. It helps with weight loss. It's a substitute for coffee. It helps with your liver health. So now remember, I talked about loose teas, and loose teas give you the best benefits. So get yourself some dandelion tea and come and lose some weight with me. Let's see what's going on in Queen's Quarters today.
I want to share something with you. Like the masses, I was in awe when I first laid eyes on all the things you are. I heard that speech. I knew we'd make noise. I just thought it'd be in the streets.
The Black Panthers are the single greatest threat to our national security. Our counterintelligence program must prevent the rise of a black messiah.
You're looking at 18 months for the stolen car, 5 years for impersonating a federal officer, or you can go home.
What do you want?
Get close to Hampton.
The Black Panthers are forming a rainbow coalition of oppressed brothers and sisters of every color.
Neutralize him by any means necessary.
America's on fire right now. And until that fire is extinguished, nothing else means a damn thing. Imagine what we could accomplish together. We can heal this whole city.
You ain't tell me it was gonna be like this. These ain't no terrorists.
We got a rat, man.
Does anybody else know about me?
No one knows your identity.
Are you sure?
We educate, we nurture, we feed, and we lobby. Perhaps we're here for more than just war with these bodies. We scream, and we shout, and we live by this anthem. But it's power to the people really worth their ransom.
When I dedicated my life to people, I dedicated my life.
You get to go out there and talk about dying a revolutionary death because you don't have another person growing inside your body.
Anywhere there's people, there's power.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
I am excited about this, everyone. I have asked the ladies to look at this movie. This movie just came out, Judas and the Messiah. It's a wonderful movie. Matter of fact, I'm going to have Emma do the synopsis.
Okay, everybody. So Judas and the Black Messiah came out February the 12th, 2021. It's a drama history thriller type movie. And what the movie is basically about is Bill O'Neill infiltrates the Black Panther per FBI agent Mitchell and J. Edgar Hoover. As Black Panther Chairman Fred Hampton ascends, falling for a fellow revolutionary on the way. A battle wages for O'Neill and for O'Neill's soul. It's a really good movie if you want to watch it. It's based on true historical facts. So let's talk about the movie, Ty.
Right. So this is a movie that's based out of 1960. Now, if you look at the title, Judas and the Black Messiah, how it depicts the same thing as what Jesus Christ went through. Now, if you look at Jesus Christ and Fred represent socialism. Now, there was a socialism and capitalism. Socialism, Jesus Christ is, if everyone doesn't know, socialism is when you are taking care of people, you have the heart of the people. Capitalism is when you're all for self. And it just seems to me, I can see the resemblance of Fred Hampton and Jesus Christ. I don't know if you ladies can relate as to what I'm talking about in this movie.
Yes, definitely. I saw that as well.
You've seen that?
Yes.
I saw it in the fact that he was for the people. Jesus was for the people.
Right.
He was about helping and improving his community. Jesus was about helping and improving his community. He was starting social programs to better people, like he wanted to give out food to the homeless, to the hungry, and he wanted to do like daycare centers, things of that nature. So in that, I can see the similarities.
Yeah. So what the FBI was comparing them to, if you watch the movie, if everyone out there watched the movie, what they were comparing them to was the KKK. Now they felt as though that they were a threat to the community, and they was just like the KKK, which they wasn't. They wanted the three factors. They was really harping on feeding the community, which the program still exists today, if you know about it. But feeding the community, health plan, trying to get the health care going on, as well as education. So I don't know if you guys seen that, or what do you think? What do you think about the Black Panther Party as a whole?
Well, I
before
do
you
know.
get into that, one thing I just want to interject. Excuse me, Sister Tracy, but the one thing that I want to interject is not only was he working with the Black Panther movement, but his attempt was to pull in other organizations.
Right.
He didn't just go with Black Panthers. He tried to get like the Spanish group, whatever their name was, and the white, not the Ku Klux Klan, but other white organizations to sort of help, or not necessarily white, but people of color, Spanish, other Spanish behavioral groups, things of that nature. I'm sorry, Sister Queen Tracy.
No, you're absolutely correct. There was a Caucasian group that was also, because I remember them having a banner behind them, which represented like racism, I think.
Yeah.
So he did what he was trying to show the people was that there was a common ground between all of us. And oh my God, this thing just related to me even in today's time. And I'm not going to go that far ahead right now, but he was trying to bring everyone together and show them, listen, we have a common enemy. This enemy is not just about Black people and it's only about Black people, but it's about all of us as a people that we're having a problem, and it's common. So he was trying to bring everybody together because he felt like, and with people, there is power. When you stick together, there is power.
Yeah.
And you have to understand the historical aspect of it, because during that time, there was a lot of racist behavior going on between the police and the community, communities of color. They had a lot of situations where the police would like beat you, a lot of things that are being accused of even today. The police would beat you, and they showed a lot of that in the movie.
Yeah. Well, what you were saying was the Rainbow Coalition he had started was the Rainbow Coalition. He had what was called the Latino Young Lords on board, as well as the whites, which was represent the Young Patriots. Also, he also have Native Americans on board, and he also gathered the gangs together too. And the president felt like, okay, now if he can do this, if he can have that much influence on bringing everybody together, and like you said, Queen Emma, like it was, they were trying to come together for the betterment of the people at that time. Because if you looked at it back in the 60s, I mean, we were battling you know, it was a lot of poor people that did not have food, kids going to school hungry. It's still the same as today. Kids going to school hungry, and it wasn't just the Black community. A lot of other race was facing the same thing as we were, and that's what he was pointing out.
It was very. It was. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead, Queen Tans.
It was very interesting to me too how it was like the government was against this one man. This one man displayed so much power that they looked into the future and said to themselves, if we continue to let this go like this, he can interrupt and disrupt our comfortability. Like we are the prominent and the dominant figures. We have control over this, we have control over that. And if we allow this one man to gather all of these different races of people and come together on a common ground, we could lose our top priority. We could lose our strength, we could lose our power. And when he sat one of the cops down and literally said to him, one of the government figures or whatever, he was
FBI agent.
Yeah, the FBI agent. He said to him, he said, you know, what if your daughter comes home with a nigga? Oh, excuse me. Sorry, that's what it said. What if your daughter come home with, you know, he's like, why are you talking about my daughter? She's like 6 months old. And he's like, no, you need to understand and look into the future. If you allow this to go on now, while your daughter is 6 months old, we can look up in the future and we will be the less dominant race. So, and it's the same thing. Nothing new happens under the sun. As it says in Ecclesiastes, nothing new. This is all, it has happened. If history repeats itself. Same thing with Martin Luther King.
And Who was after Martin Luther King? Yep. They was monitoring Martin Luther King, Malcolm.
Monitoring Martin Luther King.
But you know what really hurt me? You know what?
Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, any Black man that they feel can start a revolution. I mean, even Tupac got it. Tupac got it. They tried to shut Tupac down because
you know what really hurt me?
Wait. Because of his political lineage.
Right.
He comes from a political lineage where they stood up, Black Panther Party. How many Black Panthers have they locked up because they felt like they were a threat?
Yeah, because they showed a lot in the movie.
Yeah, and then when you go further, you talk about Ice Cube and Eazy-E, all of that whole group they tried to shut down because they had that song exclamation mark.
Right.
They didn't want them to sing or to rap that song at concerts. Go back. We could go back in history. Nina Simone had a song about lynching, and they didn't want her to sing that song. A whole boatload of cops would line up at every concert she had that she would not sing that sing that song. And it was what was it, baby? What was the name of the song? Try to get my baby help. Strange Fruit. Strange Fruit. If anybody is curious, please listen to that song. Look at your history. Nina Simone, Strange Fruits. And I'm telling you, they would not let her sing that song because she was singing about lynching. And they didn't want to put it out there. But they could do this stuff in private. But when stuff is public, they don't want it displayed, or they try to shut down or close the mouths of people when it's supposed to be freedom of speech. We got to look at that.
And it's not freedom of speech. They watch whatever you do. Just like I said, it's socialism versus capitalism. So that means.
But I have to tell you guys, I have to say this. You know what hurt me the most in that movie is that they got that brother to be the person to join the Black Panther and turn on them. You know what I'm saying?
But
one of the guys that was really close to him.
But you know, he wasn't one. They had like 9 others besides him. But I mean, of course, they didn't show that, or because he was the main one that really hurt or got to.
Right.
So that's why they, showed him.
But he played because the movie is basically, that particular movie is basically based on his betrayal.
Exactly.
It was more about his betrayal of being a Black Panther and working with
the feds.
Yeah,
because
working with the feds.
Took them down. Took the Black Panther down. Basically.
Well,
he was the one that led
collaboration.
Yeah,
collaboration with the feds.
Because and based on the movie, it all came across because he was the one that he tried to steal a car or something like that. And he was so afraid of going to jail until they was able to manipulate him to get into this organization and not and be, abusive to the whole situation. It was I was really upset that he was the one
on the capitalism side. He was only looking out for himself.
Exactly.
He was only looking out for himself. So
now bring that
on something that
whatever it was for him to gain whatever he needed, that's what he did.
Right.
That's what he did.
Right.
Wait, Queen Lady B, what you wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, I was going to touch on something what Queen Ty said earlier. As we stated, the movie is very relative to the story of Jesus and Judas, and not just that, the Black Panther history, but also relative to today. Like, how many times can we think of, someone trying to do something positive, and here comes somebody, and also a lesson of watch your circle. That's the first thing that came
exactly.
Amen.
Watch your circle, because everybody that's in your circle is not for you. So it's lot of lessons.
Come on.
This movie, but anytime you're trying to do something powerful, impactful, you can have 200,000 people rooting for you, pushing you, and then here come the 10. Like, what's that all about?
Exactly.
Right.
But you know what was another good part in the movie is when.
Well, before y'all move on, Emma, could we jump in a little bit? Because y'all keep going on and on, and I can't.
Because the good part is when they all got together to help him rebuild the office. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm finished.
Now I gotta go on.
Got together.
I gotta rewind.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, Queen Tans, you brought out so many good points, and the judicial system, it just shows how the judicial system works.
Come on.
And it's still the same way today. You get in a little bit of trouble, and they promised to give you all this time. And so what he did was, to save himself, he became a snitch.
Right.
So he was kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place. But then, like I said, this was so spiritual, and it brought out, and I even wrote down some scripture. I had that one, Tansy, that you brought down, that the one that you said in it. What was that you said a minute ago?
What I did, there's nothing new under the sun. But
there's nothing new under the sun, because if you go back to the story of Jesus, for those who don't know, the one person that portrayed Jesus was one that rolled with him. It was his roll dog. It was one of the 12 apostles, and he the one who then gave Jesus up for 30 pieces of silver. So here we go again. You got a financial need, and so we're going to supply you. And they was doing that to the trader. I just call him the trader. They was sliding him money, and not really a lot of money. They was just sliding him money to tell and to snitch. And then if he decided he wanted to get out, they would use, this is what you did, and we're going to give you X amount of time to, for this. And see, then I wrote down another scripture, which was, there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for a friend. So now that he was rolling with the main character, who is, what's his name? Fred. He was rolling with Fred. He became a friend. He was a roll dog. He rolled with him. He watched everything. He was right in the middle, and yet he still refused. Even the times I thought he was going to crack, and he was going to say, "You know what, man? Listen, I got to pull you to the side and let you know what's up." And then but he didn't do that, and instead he kept going through with the plan and through the plan, and so his conscience was just not enough to make him do the right thing. And because and then another scripture came to my mind. In John 15:12, he said, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." So he didn't even have enough love for him, even though he was feeling these emotions, to say, "Hey, let me not do this, because this is my brother." And and then the Bible says, whoever tries to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life will preserve it. So see, now this trader find himself in a hard place. Because if I tell the Panthers who I am, and they know that I'm a traitor, they're going to kill me.
Right.
But if I don't do what the cops want me to do, then they're going to throw me in jail.
Because did you see when he had that dream when he was like, I'm not telling. Did you see that?
Yeah, when he said, I'm not a snitch. But see, here's the thing. Had he just said, you know what? I'm going to lay down my life and do my time. I'm going to do what you tell me to do. The cops wouldn't have had to hold on him.
Right.
I don't care what they had railroaded him into, how many years they would have gave him. He would say, you know what? I'm just going to do what I got to do. But because he was trying to save his own hide, he done ventured into so many other situations. So he never had a chance to really live. It was like the cops was controlling one side, and then I can't portray the Panthers on the other side, but I'm doing this anyway. So he chose to do things that benefited his life.
Yeah,
and so I thought that was.
It was him that would have chose somebody else. I have a question for you ladies after you get your point, Queen Time.
No, okay. No, go on.
No, so I was going to pose the question. So if it was us, if it was you, would you do the time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna share because you know what, like Queen T has said, he was still in prison. He was in prison mentally.
Right.
He was still in prison because when you like Queen Tar had brought out capitalism, you're gonna be a slave to something.
Right.
Even though you trying to have your freedom and you trying not to get locked up because you did whatever this petty crime is and you allowing them to hold it over your head. But now you're betraying your people. Yeah. So remember that time when Fred was speaking to the people when he was saying, "I am a revolutionary."
That's right.
He had to look that devil right in the face in the midst of the crowd. Right. And remind himself of how double-minded he was.
And how he was working for the snake. Because the snake sat right in the midst of the whole situation.
Yes, he was.
And was lying because he was back there like raising his hand and clapping and saying it.
And everything. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Yes.
I'm going to do the crime and I'm going to do my time because you're not going to imprison me.
Right.
You're not going to imprison me so you can suit what your purpose is. And I'm going against my people. He was in prison that whole time mentally because he betrayed his people and his conscience wouldn't let him live with it, but he was already too far gone to erase the fact. Because like you said, Queen T, he would have died on one hand if he would have went in and told them what he did, or then he would have been in actual prison. He might as well just gave it up and went in actual prison. Because to live like that is not freedom at all. Trying to go
exactly.
One of the good things that came out was that was a nice love story. with him and his partner, with him and that girl.
Yes. Yes. But see,
just to lighten the load a little bit, because y'all get ready to go off on these.
No, but that speaks volumes too, because that's another flip side of how women,
a black woman could be
relationships, right? When we're in relationships,
queen somewhere.
Hello. When you're in a relationship with a very powerful individual, how it is important to love them to the point where they could still be powerful. Right. But she had to see, you saw how she had to suppress her feelings, because in that same speech, when he was talking about, I'm a revolutionary, I live for the people and I die for the people. Remember, she was like, while you busy dying for the people, I got
I'm carrying your baby.
Right. I got to think about a life inside of me.
Right. Exactly. Think about that. So it makes you think about the Martin Luther King wife and the wives of these powerful men that literally lived for the people and died for the people. You were somebody that you had to sacrifice to the cause. So when we're in relationships, we can't be so selfish with our mate or selfish with each other, period. Because at the end of the day, God gave us purpose. So we are still here for God's given plan. Even when we get married or when we're in relationships, there's a God-given purpose and a plan for us. But yeah, I love that love story part of it too. It was so many different parts.
And by the end, he was willing to settle back and turn it over to somebody else while he stayed with his wife. You know what I'm saying? He was willing to give it up because he was like, I'm not going to run, but I'm going to let you run it. You know, I'm going to let you run the Black Panther, and I'm going to be here to take care of my wife and baby.
Right. But remember when Fred got released and they did rebuild and came in, and Fred was looking like, oh my goodness, you came together. And he said, it wasn't just us. He said the people. He said grandmothers. Grandfathers, everybody in the community knew how important this platform, this pillar of the community was. So they all came together. But did you see how Judas was looking at him?
The whole entire time.
It was like in that moment, I wanted him to say, I'm sorry. This was my contribution.
Me too.
I gotta be out.
Me too. Me too.
Fred looked at him like, what would I have done without you? But at the same token, this man is stabbing you in the back, but yet and still he looks like he's behind you. So
several times he would take the speaker off of him when he tried to make him get the bomb situation and everything together.
Oh, I was going to bring that up. Yeah, but see, and that what makes it so ironic, because they had nothing on him. They kept trying to prove against him. Like,
isn't that like Jesus when they kept trying to put things on him that he wasn't even doing, and they just to lock him up and convict him.
That's why they named him the Black Messiah.
They locked him up for ice cream. What
was
it?
Ice cream. $71 worth of ice cream, because they couldn't find anything. So they locked him up 2 to 5 years for robbery, they call it. And he's like, I wasn't nowhere near there.
Yeah.
So that was not even me. So
go back. Judas, who in Satan, who is the accuser of the brethren? Huh? You're accusing of the brethren. Anytime you find somebody, and this is just a side note application for kings and queens out there. Anytime somebody is accusing somebody in your party or someone else, and this false accusation, that is straight from Satan, because he is the accuser of the brethren.
Yes.
And you know what? When you said Satan, I saw him several times in this movie, quite a few times in the movie, but definitely like when the captain was talking to the man about his daughter and what happens when she gets older and bring home a black male, a Negro male, you know, and this thing is going to change the way of life. What I saw was the devil planting seeds in this man's head, because he wasn't even thinking about that. He was like, my daughter's only like 6 months. Why are we even having this conversation? But he was planting the seed to say, hey, listen, if you don't do something now, this is going to come back to bite you in the behind later. Absolutely. And this is going to change our whole way of like you said, losing power. So I seen, you got to be careful what people try to put in your ears.
And I just want to, Queen Lady B brought up such a good point, because when you watch this movie, it looked like so many people can be for you, but secretly plotting your demise.
Absolutely.
But they are your number one fans in your eyes. How dangerous is that?
Right.
And the devil is a liar. Remember when he said,
that first young lady, she suspected something was up with him.
But they didn't catch him. They was right there, but I was like, please get him, but they didn't get him. But that's how Satan do. He'll take care of his demons so that they can continue to do what he set them out to do. So he'll cover for them. He will definitely cover for them. Yeah.
But if you keep your eyes open and you be able to see something, even though, I mean, it was so many different points in the movie where one of them, even Jimmy that passed away, it was so many of them that kept looking at him with a side eye.
Even a girlfriend at one point in time, she looked at him with a side eye. And that just goes to show, sometimes you get a gut feeling, go with that gut feeling, investigate that gut feeling. Don't look past, I think, I feel this type of way about my girlfriend. If you having a gut feeling about her, check her out, find out what's going on, hey.
That's what I say.
I'm just saying, you might have to do it. You might have to set her up with a little trick just to see if she gonna bite the bait. I don't know.
Oh goodness.
B, you had something to say, B, earlier on. What was
it?
Who, me?
Yeah. Didn't you have a question?
No, I asked y'all. Y'all answered it. I said
answered it.
Yeah.
Look, I wanted to read something because this is very important. This story encouraged us to rethink all that we have been taught about the villains and the victims of history, as well as the present system we accept in our lives under some of all of our lives, and all of the warnings that we avoid in our mindsets and preservations, because seeing yourself not a part of the fight and the change amounts to us not doing anything at all.
Yes, that's powerful.
When I seen that, that brought up a lot of what the struggles and fights that we have today. The American dream that they're telling us that we can achieve. And we can't achieve because we're so far behind. So, and they saying that all it takes is hard work is to achieve the goal, the riches and goals that everyone else has and we don't have. And of course, back in the 60s, they didn't have that, or they couldn't get it at that time because they were so held behind by the non-education, by the health, no health benefits and no food. So you have to worry about feeding your child where your next meal is going to come from. And then they're worried about keeping their foot on our necks.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm so glad you have brought up that point, because I also wanted to speak to the fact that Fred's mission, his mission was to have a community that was self-sufficient and sustainable on just our community and people of color, not just African Americans, not just Black, not just Caucasian, not just Latino, but us together. And he was trying to do it without the cops. I don't know if you guys watched The Chi, but The Chi is a show that's on Showtime. And right now, currently, there's like a Black mayor, and how he has it in the town is no cops. He said, no cops. We want to see, let's see if our community can sustain depending on ourselves without cops reinforcement or that enforcement. Okay. And they came together as a community and they squashed domestic violence situations, shootings, all of that stuff. They did themselves, and they're actually just running that test to see if it's something that will work. But that goes back to the Black Wall Street. goes back to us having our own communities, because that's what Fred was trying to do. Have a community where it was self-sufficient and self-reliant on the people, and the people coming together to work together to build that community.
And it wasn't necessarily based on your color.
Right. Absolutely. It was everyone together, understanding that they were all in the same boat and needed to move forward together because nobody was better than the other. We needed to come together in unity to do this.
I have another question, and that tonight is me with the question. No, because you touched on something, Queen Tans, and I was like, ooh, that sparked something in me, like going back to the love story portion of the movie and how she, loved him, and at that point you accept your mate's mission. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I would want my mate. I mean,
it's major.
Powerful.
It's major.
That's just like being married to a police officer or whatever. Every day you go out and you protect and you serve, whether it means
and you risk your life
being taken or not. Like somebody that had that mission, or like, can you ladies like be in a relationship like that, not knowing that your mate is the target for such a powerful movement?
But
you know what? God prepares you. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chan.
Go ahead.
God prepares you for such time as this.
That's true.
And when in this particular situation, she met him through the movement, so she knew what he was about. I think that it's different if you're with somebody and then they develop into that, as opposed to when you meet them and they're already into that. Some things you take because that's the way the situation is when you get into it. It's not something where she didn't know what he was about. Like when she met him, he was in charge of the Black Panther. It wasn't that they didn't know it was going to get that big, but she knew he was already in charge. So I don't know.
Well, can I add to what Queen Emma said? That's what actually drew him to her, was the fact that he was a revolutionary. And the reality was it was in her too. Right. See, that's what God says, you have to be equally yoked. So that's not for everybody, but if you equally yoked, then that person is for you, because you guys have very similar ways. So even though she was having this man's child, she understood at first it was rough for her, because she did show you how she was struggling with the idea that you're a revolutionary for the people, but what about me right now? I'm bringing a child, and then I have to accept that something may happen to you, whether you go to jail or whatever, and then I got to raise this baby on my own. So that's what drew him to her. But they were a lot alike. It was like iron sharpens iron. And that's what that was. I love the Black love story, how powerful. And I think also what that story showed is how powerful we are as a people. And I know we talked about relationships on one of our shows, and that's another thing that I would like to add is that together as a people, when we connect, we're very powerful.
Right.
So I think that's important.
Yeah.
Wait, Queen Na, you got to answer the question, because I ain't heard nothing from you.
Well, you guys touched on pretty much everything I wanted to say. But when it comes to being in a relationship with a man that's powerful, if he's for you, God have called you to be that woman for that man. Basically, you're on an assignment. Even like, for instance, first ladies and a pastor. You are literally called to be in an assignment with that man. Everyone can't be a first lady. Everyone can't be Martin Luther King or Michael Max's wife. So, that's just what it is. But going back to something Ty said, when it comes to education, I just wish me I learned soon enough, but when I was in school, we was learning like algebra and all this other stuff that didn't matter. We should have been learning how to invest, how to save, basically how to make sure your credit is appropriate. We should have been learning other things. And these other people, I would say Caucasian people, they already teach their children when they're young, so that they already have like a head start on us. I learned it, at an early enough age, but if I would have learned it even younger, wow, it would have been like, I would have been even in a better spot. But now what I'm going to do on my end is anyone that I know, anybody in my family, friends, anybody younger, I'm just going to make sure I educate them, let them know that, you know, you don't have to stay where you're at. You don't have to, if you're in the projects, is more to that. You can get out the projects and don't feel bad when you leave. Also, when it comes to all the powerful men you guys actually said, I believe Farrakhan, he is that one in today's society because Facebook and Instagram have took him off of all their platforms. I think he's only on Twitter and YouTube. So the very fact that what's that man that owns Facebook and Instagram? I don't even remember his name.
I forgot. I know him. Yeah, I forgot.
He's Jewish, but I just know that he was saying that Farrakhan was preaching hate, which he wasn't. He's just a lover of Black people. So it's just funny how even in today's society, if you're very powerful, Would you say, Liddy B? If you're very powerful,
never mind. Go ahead. That's more.
If you're very powerful, basically, they do anything and anything to make sure you're quiet or shut down.
It's going on today.
If I can just interject one thing in reference to us not learning about finances in our past history as African Americans, we were not taught, like our parents were not taught that. So they didn't know to teach us. They knew to teach us to save and stuff like that, but they didn't really teach like investments. Like my mother's father taught her how to save, but she didn't teach her how to invest. But I had an uncle who knew how to invest, who taught my mother's generation how to invest. So that generation sort of spread. But my cousins from that uncle, they are more investors than I am and my side of the family. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that it's really important that we educate our children now on finances and saving and investing and things of that nature. But in the defense of the generations before us, they didn't know. So they didn't know to tell us. You can't teach what you don't know.
And even before you can invest, you have to know how to budget. So we have to teach them how to budget. And it's not even about finances. Don't forget about food. Basically, we eat McDonald's every day. That's not good for us. Basically,
but growing up, we didn't do that. See, y'all generation did that. But growing up, in my mother's generation, they didn't do McDonald's and stuff. And in my generation, we didn't do McDonald's. And for my children, that McDonald's was a treat. It's the children after that. You understand what I'm saying? That
Queen Top.
They come from like the South. Even though they wasn't eating McDonald's, they eating them home cooked meals. It was bad for them. All that oil, all that grease. So by the time I was older,
absolutely,
no more pork.
Absolutely, Lord and all that other stuff they was cooking, and pig feet and pig ears and all those things they would eat. Absolutely, because remember during slavery they were given the leftovers, you know, the worst of the worst, and had to make a good meal with it, and that's what we call, you know, soul food, and that's not good for the soul. But I think Ty and I, you guys brought up some really great points. It's not that it is we are behind, but then we need to understand that the system was designed that way. Exactly. So even if you do get an education, and even if you climb up the ladder, you're still going to reach some ceilings, some walls, some obstacles, because it's meant to keep us as a people in a lower place. And that was going to be one of my questions to you guys.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait. Before you get into that question, because I want to finish with Queen Lady B question, but I want to expound on that, because exactly what you said is what I wanted to say. When Queen Ty had mentioned that it goes back to being very systematic. They built it that way from beginning so that we could follow this pattern. Going back to what Queen Nye said, the education is what I want you to know. Because before they go let you read the books, so it's what I want you to know. And going back to when that saying, you want to keep anything from a Black person, you put it in a book.
You put it in a book.
Exactly.
They weren't seeing us as educated individuals. So there was a lot of information in those books that they hid on purpose. And then when we got to the point of learning and trying to educate ourselves, there is some caps too, but there's ways around those caps as well, Queen T. You just have to educate yourself now to find those gaps that they tried to hide before. So you can kind of work that way in, kind of going back to what you said, Queen T, I think you said something, you gave us an example on a previous show, talking about how a woman wanted to sell her house and she disguised, she didn't show herself. She showed
right. She removed all her pictures and stuff from the house so they wouldn't know that she was one who lived in the house, but her husband was Caucasian.
Right. So she had that representative to come to the forefront to do that. And she was able to get a higher amount for that house than she would have if she didn't. Absolutely. I know a woman I just met not too long ago bought a house in a very, 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 very other cultural area. And when she went to get the house, the lady said to the realtor, I'm not selling my house to an N-word. And the lady in the realtor brought it back to the lady. The lady opened a lawsuit and actually got that house and a piece of the land that the lady wasn't even on. Whoa. You know what I'm saying? So there's ways now around that. We just gotta commit to, like what Queen Na said, commit to educating ourselves so that we can make that difference with our seed and their seed and their seed. So we can do what other cultures have done and teach our children how to have a legacy built for their children and their children's children. But I wanted to answer Ladies B question as far as being a powerful man. We got to keep in mind too, regardless of what position our man has, keeping in mind that he's our king, any assignment he has is major.
Amen.
Because anything that we're doing, if you say yes to God and yes to Christ, everything we do in our life is on an assignment. Mm-hmm. So absolutely. It's our duty to lift that man up in every way, shape, and form. And like Queen Na said, if you're built for whatever assignment, God knows who to match you up with so that you can pray that man through, you can fast that man through, you can build that man through, and y'all build together. I was having this conversation with my other. He ain't, you know, I can't say my spouse yet, but it's coming. But I was having this conversation with him, and I was saying, you know, you gotta watch who you connect with, because it could be either toxic or it could be very progressive. Because if you are in a relationship with somebody that's tearing you down, then and sucking the very life out of you, being an octopus, and their tentacles is grabbing the very life out of you and choking you, you could die in that relationship. Mm-hmm. So everything that y'all do, or when you're looking for a spouse or coming together to connect with somebody, it has to be a forward movement. My apologies, y'all. My phone fell. I'm excited. It has to be
you better preach.
I ain't trying to preach though, but it has to be a progressive and a forward movement, because you could get with somebody and it be so toxic, and you start doing stuff that you never in your life thought you would do before.
You lose yourself.
Thank you, Queen Na. Yeah. You lose yourself. And I know we've all been and seen relationships that we know, like, Dad, they weren't like that before. Like, what happened?
Or even things you did, like that wasn't me. That wasn't who that I did things that's not who I am. Going against your morals and your values. Yes.
And if we could bring this back to the movie that we were discussing.
Wait a minute. I want to answer that question too, because I ain't get a chance.
Well, that was the movie, Queen Emma. Don't try to act like I got on topic.
No, I'm not saying you got on topic, boo. Don't take it personal. Because I was going to bring in a point about the movie. I'll wait till Thais finishes and I'll bring in my point.
About the relationship.
And you acting like we ain't talking about the movie now.
And being behind a powerful man. But go ahead.
Real quick. Okay, so my point to this is
I just want to say this, I'm wrapping it up. I just want to say that, of course, support your man, you know, but the human side of it is still the fear factor. Like, oh my God, what if he doesn't come back home tonight? But absolutely, and of course, the offering plate, because you did that.
I was not
let me say this, Queen Lady B. You know, God said He does not give us the spirit of fear. So anything else is not of God. So once we understand who we are in God and the bottom line, we can't hear you.
I don't want to debate the spiritual factor, but like I get all of that.
No. I understand what you're saying. The realistic fact that as women, that's what we think, and or the natural way to feel. Exactly.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to say, that we're all called to serve. We're all called to serve everyone. So the socialism part of it offers a purpose of fulfillment and a power that a person have, that they're not afraid to give up their life. So when you
that's good.
When you're called to that, then there's not, like Queen T says, there's not a fear in you, because you know what you're, just like Jesus Christ did. He knew what he was called to do. He knew what his assignment was for as well. So when you're called to that, like we all should be called to that, to servanthood, to serve our people, then there won't be a fear.
Thank you, Ty, for saying that, because I want to ask that. I'm directed to Queen Lady B. So Queen Lady B, you have a calling on your life, correct?
Absolutely.
Now, God tell you to go out there and reach people and bring them to him and all those good things. And you're going out here and you preaching the word, but you know you got some people out here or some spirits out here that don't want to receive it. Now you go out there in them streets and you start preaching that word and you start being attacked. Now the reality is that's not going to stop you if you are a true woman of God. You're going to go back out there and you're going to do it again. You know why? Because that's your calling.
Right.
So even like Ty said, you're gonna stand for something, or you're gonna die for everything else. Trust me. So you know,
bring it back to the movie.
I think that we went on the other end of that, but okay.
No. I was making it more personal so that you understand that fear is not going to play a part when you're doing what God has called you to do.
Right. But that's just like bringing it back to Fred Hampton when he said, "What is this about? Is it about the movement or is it about me?" You know,
exactly.
You know, this is what it's about. Whether I'm here or not, it should go on. This is it still go on.
Go ahead, Queen Ty. Is it about God or is it about you? Or is it about God or is it about the pastor?
Right.
Huh? Do the church still goes on if the pastor's not there? Hello, Queen Ty. You better talk.
But technically, we should know that we are the church. We are the church, period. We're the ones that's supposed to be, speaking that gospel and all that word. But I do have a question. Do y'all feel as though there's a Judas in every circle, even if you love everyone in your circle? And if so, Judas always bad. Sometimes Judas can keep you on your feet, right?
All that. All of that.
I don't believe there has to be a Judas in every circle. However, if that person doesn't have any morals or values, or if it's compromised in some type of way, which we know in this movie, this guy's morals and values were compromised. He was placed in a certain situation. So he did what he thought was best for him. So sometime in a circle, you have a group of people that you're in a good circle with, but at the same time, if one of those people are compromised in some type of way, they might choose to do the wrong thing. So sometimes it may not be quote unquote intentional. Like I'm coming in this thing and I want to be toxic, but something may happen along the way that cause that person to be a Judas.
And I think a good question is, who's in your group is a revolutionary or who's a capitalist? Who is for themselves? Who has always got the I, me, versus the one that's saying what we can do or what you got going on. Are you okay? How can I help? Or what are you doing? Or can we collab? Let's get together. Or I'm going through this week, you here for me. I'm going through next week, I'm there for you. And we got that relationship. But if you always find yourself giving, and they're like a sponge, taking.
That's the one that you should watch out.
That's what I said.
Right.
So my question to you ladies were the fact that this particular entity, I'm gonna say it like that, was going against the poor people. Those that didn't have a lot, didn't have great schooling, didn't have good clinics in their areas and things like that. The poor, the trodden down. My question was, why them? Because you're so worried about losing your status, your way of life that you're willing to do everything, kill these people unlawfully, lock them in jail unlawfully. Why? Because technically, in a sense, it seems like you have the power. You got the money, you own everything, you're running everything. Why? And before you guys answer, I'm gonna go to the end of the movie because there's a whole lot I could say about that, but I'm not. But I'm just gonna say at the end of the movie, it took them absolutely 12 years. 12. Did y'all hear me? 12? All y'all ladies know the Bible. It took them 12 years to settle that particular case. That's not a coincidence. But
I want to go back.
Wait. It's my turn.
Hold on. Let me just say
no, it's my turn. I don't think they was going against the poor people. I think they were going against the person that they felt threatened by. They wanted the
but it affects everybody. It doesn't just affect that one person.
The poor people. They weren't going against the poor people. They were going against the person that would pull the poor people out of their circumstances. Okay, right. Jan, it's on you.
But remember, it affects everybody. The people that he's trying to pull up, it affects them as well. So even if they take him out, it affects them as well. So
yeah, because for them to go after Fred meant the bigger picture was don't pull them poor people out.
Exactly.
But that one thing that you was talking about Queen Lady to Queen Lady B about, and what she had mentioned that she said went the other direction, fear. That's exactly why they moved the way they did.
Exactly.
Fear. Because how did they get those positions on the backs of us? So fear, because the same way I got to get it is the same way I'm trying to keep it. I stole it. So anything I'm stealing or I stole, I want to hoard because I don't want to let it go because I didn't get it honest to begin with.
But if you stole it, that means you stole it from somebody.
You got to give it back.
You stole it from somebody. So that tells you who you stole it from.
And we still looking for reparations.
Exactly.
We're going to get it back. You better believe it's coming back.
Whether you want to or not, it's going to happen. It's absolutely.
Y'all bring up fear, but is that the reason why we won't have another Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, or Farrakhan? Because of fear? Yeah. I'm sure there's people that is just as powerful as them men or have it in them to be as powerful as them. But, fear.
But
I don't believe that.
What they learn to do now, as soon as they see it, they try to nip it or cut it at his head. As soon as they see it, they try to cut it right away. So
like you look at all these men, they were assassinated or they was killed. So why would I try?
But remember, two things y'all said. He said in the movie, the revolution. What did he say about the revolution? When the revolution, he said, you can kill the people, but you can't kill the revolution. Then you said, nah, the church is in us. So guess what? It's not, the word of God says there's no man is going to save us. So we at a time of individual awakening. See, all the churches are awakening. And I'm not talking about the building. I'm talking about the people. So you can never kill the revolutionary. The revolution, should I say. You can never kill that. So believe you me, it's still happening, just not in a way it happened before.
Right.
That's what he said. When he said, go ahead, Tom.
It's a different fight. Like we're still fighting, but we're not fighting for the same cause they was fighting back in slavery time, back in the 60s. We're fighting a different fight because it's still going on, but it's just happening different.
And I believe we're individually called to this awakening at this point, and fear shouldn't hold any of us back to do our individual part. But up from the like Louis Farrakhan is probably like the only one I can say modern day revolutionist right now. But when he said you could kill the freedom fighter, but you can't kill freedom, I was like,
Absolutely. And right now it's so heavy in the hearts of the people right now to be free. And so right now you have a lot of people that is studying and reading and learning more about, how to get free out of the system, should I say. So
and you got to want it too. We can teach them all these things, but just make sure you want it. You want to better yourself.
Yeah. And what I liked about Fred Hampton and what it depicts about Jesus Christ all at the same time is he was out in the street doing his work. and looking out for the people. So just so that other people know that you don't have to be in a church in order to do your work. You can also do your work outside in the street, wherever you feel that God is calling you to and where you're led to. That's where your work is, and that's where you should be showing what you're meant to do on this earth. Everyone's meant to walk a path on this earth. And as long as you're doing a socialism work for other people and not for yourself, that's when you win. You're called to win.
And I want to expound on that, tag team with you on this, because it says, forsake not the assembly of the saints. So when we come together to strengthen one another. That's for us. We come together to strengthen one another, for us to encourage one another, for us to stay strong in our faith, as Paul would say, for us to encourage so we can keep and walk this good fight, keep the good fight of faith, because we come together to strengthen one another. But our work is always out. It said, go ye therefore. So
right, go ye
therefore, to go out into the nations and preach my gospel. So the work is always out. It's always out. But when we come together to strengthen one another and to edify and build one another up.
Because the demons, they're unified. They make sure they are on assignment to attack us. So all this fighting in the church, we need to stop. We need to get together, strengthen each other, and help edify the body of Christ.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's why I said this movie was so powerful. Right. It brought out so many messages. Yeah. If you didn't catch what this movie and the message that was being brought out in this movie, then you need to go back and watch it again. You need to go back and watch it again, because it was very powerful. Very powerful. Yeah.
And you want to know for me what was very devastating? Can I tell the ending?
Wait, hold on. Should we ruin it?
No, go on.
Huh? What if the people didn't see it? Let's not ruin it for the people.
Okay.
Wait, you want to say a similarity? Because no similarity? Okay, because Judas in the Bible. Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
If you know Judas in the Bible's ending, then
you'll know that ending.
Right. So do your research, kings and queens. Do your research.
Yeah.
All right, yo. Listen. Wait. Anybody else want to say anything?
I'm glad you brought that up, because that was good.
Yes. All right. So kings and queens, QQ royalty. Listen, watch Judas and the Black Messiah. If you're interested in the Black Party movement, if you're interested in doing better, seeing better, being better, watch it. We recommend it. We highly recommend it, because it just does some things for you that can help benefit and can raise the community one king and queen at a time. So QQ Royalty, we thank you so much for being in here and sticking in here with us as you always do. We appreciate you. We thank you for your loyalty. Remember to comment, like, subscribe, and share on all of our platforms, our social media platforms. And we will see you next week with a new topic. God bless. And remember, you have been a part of the Queen's Quarters experience, and there is a king and queen in you. God bless.
Bye-bye.
We are powerful, strong, and rulers in our own right. There's a queen in you. There's a queen in me.